Hello, in this video I would like to speak with you about earthquakes. One of the most recent disasters that happened is the earthquake in Nepal just about a month ago, and that's why we in fact are focusing our course mostly on Nepal. That's the area that right now urgently needs help and urgently needs rebuilding. So we would like to encourage those of you who are participating in the course to focus on Nepal as a case study, as a place where you would design your project specifically resilient to earthquakes. Earthquakes, as you may know, are happening mostly around the Pacific Ring of Fire, which goes all the way from Latin America from Chile, and then starting from Chile, then up on the west coast of Latin America, west coast of North America, down through the east coast of Asia, through China, Japan, and then below to Australia and the islands on the west side of the Pacific Ocean. Nepal is one of the areas that have been mostly affected because that's where some tectonic plates have merged, and that's why we have the Himalaya mountain, because some tectonic plates that from the south where India is now merges with tectonic plates from the north where Russia is now, and then when they met they formed the Himalaya mountains, and that area is still quite shaky and still kind of affected by earthquakes quite a lot. The recent earthquake, which has been one of the most devastating, has unfortunately caused more than 7,000 victims. There are still hundreds of thousands of people who live out of their homes because their homes were damaged, and other people who are afraid to live inside their homes because they're afraid that there might be another earthquake, as there was also an aftershock after the actual first earthquake. There was a second one. So many people are afraid to go back to their homes because they think that maybe there would be another earthquake that would kind of destroy their home while they're sleeping inside, and they won't be able to run out of it. So for all those people who have been displaced, we need to act, we need to rebuild, and we need to design new houses that they can use and rebuild their homes and have a safer life there. Now, if you look at earthquake-resilient buildings, and one of the best cases has been Japan, that is an area that has hundreds of earthquakes every year, some of them strong, some of them milder, but it's an area where the shaking of the ground has become a daily routine. So buildings are adapted to this movement. What they do is, instead of building sturdy homes with thick walls, something that is like massive and solid, they build with rather lightweight materials. Here we have the research of one of the teams from our previous course, Team Kukan-Hatten, which focused on Japan, and they found some of the virtues of traditional architecture, basically the pagoda, where the building is built on stilts that can move and the foundation is flexible. And when it starts shaking, basically everything inside moves, but there is no pressure that cannot be overcome by the building, and so it remains intact. Some of these pagodas have lasted for millennia, and they're still there because they use particular structure in which the main pillar, there's one pillar in the center of the building that holds the building together, and then it's balanced on the side with side pillars that kind of take some of the side pressure. So there's something to be learned from these examples, and there's something to be that you can incorporate in your own research and in the projects that you are designing. So here you can learn something from the traditional architecture, and then see how contemporary architects like Toyo Ito, for example, has adapted it in the mediatek here. So in the mediatek, what you have is the structural nucleus here, the cores that run through the buildings like patios, and then the floors are connected to them, but they're rather flexible. You may, in fact, look at some of the videos of the recent earthquakes there that show how the floor starts moving away from the structure. So when everything starts shaking, there is certain movement and there is certain flexibility that the building allows. And that's what it prevented it from the recent earthquakes that have been happening in Japan. Similarly, large towers like this one, the Tokyo Sky Tree is like one of the tallest buildings in the city, if not the tallest, and it has been designed in a way that makes it flexible, makes it adaptable to the shaking, and makes it withstand whatever earthquake has come to Japan in the recent years. So this is just a snapshot about earthquakes, and again, we are looking at areas that are affected around the Pacific Ring of Fire, and mostly focusing on Nepal, which is a country that mostly needs your help at this very moment. So I hope that you will focus on designing resilient homes for Nepal, and you can learn something from the previous research that you can apply into your own work.